I wanted to give back to my community. Having access to education is important. Being able to understand different people's perspectives, because you can also learn and grow from one another and share your knowledge.
What does personal growth mean and what does it cost? Hey, I'm Madison and this is Growing Pains, a space where Gen Z gets real about the messy, meaningful process of growth and what it really means to our generation. Each episode, we have Gen Z individuals diving into how growth shapes our careers, relationships, and identities, and how things like culture, environment, and failure challenge us along the way. Because growth isn't always pretty, but it's always personal. In our final episode, our next guest understands the impact we can make in our community. As a teacher, Jessica shares what she's learned through her career and how education has evolved in ways that jumpstart our youth's growth.
Hi, my name is Jessica and I am 25. Personal growth means to me just having a goal in your life and striving for that goal, no matter if it's for your work life or your personal life or your family life. As long as you have that goal and you strive for it, that is something that I would believe would be personal growth.
Teaching and giving back to her community are just some of the ways Jessica has grown as an individual. It is through giving back that she feels made her the educator she is today.
I made sure that when I was 15, I got a job that had to do with the education field, and then I was pretty much working in the education field up until I graduated from college, and now I've been teaching for 3 years within the DOE. I grew up in Hawaii, born and raised, and to me, I feel like I wanted to give back to my community. Coming from a local perspective, we are always helping one another out. So becoming a teacher was something that I feel like was a calling for me, and giving back to my community was something that I felt was a part of my personal growth journey.
Community is important to us all in different ways. Jessica dives into how the people we surround ourselves with can oftentimes influence how we grow and make decisions.
I think that it can either positively or negatively affect you. I have had encounters where I had people that hurt me in my life and it brought me down. I wasn't able to strive to the goals that I wanted to be at because of the people that I was influenced by. And then vice versa, when I ended up getting involved with people that were positively influencing me, I was able to make sure that I was able to strive for the goals that I wanted to. So for example, surrounding myself with people that uplifted me for my career, that was an example of me being able to strive for my goals.
In different ways, the pressures set by the culture and society we live in today have altered how many view growth. Jessica shares how it's influenced her journey.
Social media has a very big influence on the way that we as a society put pressure upon ourselves. So whether that being having to be a certain weight, having to make a certain amount of money, having to have the nicest cars, the biggest house. I think that because what we see on the media and on the internet, it kind of plays a role into putting pressure on yourself to make sure that you can strive to be like those people.
Education offers us opportunities to grow and learn from the world around us. As a teacher, Jessica values access to resources and shares how it opens the door to growth opportunities.
I would say that having access to education is important because it gives you opportunities to see what you want to do in the future. I'm not saying that you need to have a college education in order to get the best job, because sometimes school isn't for everybody, but having those opportunities to branch out and meet other people, it could open opportunities for you to do a job that you love and to make money and to be happy with your life. I think that that's something that would positively impact your personal growth experience. And then negatively, it could be where you go to school and you realize that that's not for you and now you're stuck in this debt. But it doesn't mean that, your personal growth journey is coming to an end. It just means that you just have to start over again.
At an age where economic factors sit heavily on our decision making, financial concerns, whether it be the cost of living or the salaries you see today, more often now than ever influence the trajectory of our growth journeys.
I would say that with finances, if you are in financial debt, it could put a lot of pressure on you. As we grow as a society and as inflation keeps happening, that could really put a mental toll on a lot of people, just because we have goals to have kids, we have goals to buy a house, we have goals to buy a new car, and we won't be able to do those things if inflation keeps happening and finances keep deteriorating. And it also negatively affects people because for example, in Hawaii, the cost of living is super, super expensive and it doesn't match the salary that majority of people are making today in Hawaii.
Educating ourselves about diverse perspectives and cultures can ultimately help us understand each other in a deeper manner. Jessica shares how she learned and grew through her students and her career.
So being a teacher, you experience a lot. Or especially for me, I work in a military community, so I'm always meeting new people, whether they come from different backgrounds, especially different cultures, and teaching these students to be mindful of, how they speak to one another, how they go about their life choices. Those are some of the things that I think can positively impact a student and jumpstart their own personal growth journey. And even for educating myself when it comes to different cultures, learning from my students and learning their cultures and backgrounds, it really helps me to make sure that you're being able to understand different people's perspectives, because you can also learn and grow from one another and share your knowledge.
Education is yet another stepping stone in a lot of our growth journeys. It helps us understand the world and those around us better and opens the door to new opportunities and perspectives. I'm Madison Hagio, and we're just scratching the surface of the complexities of growth, because growth isn't always pretty, but it's always personal.